Merry Christmas, Reds! Though the mood isn't exactly festive. The fans are out for blood, the press is screaming crisis, and the comments under every single post are stuffed with the same things. Buy a CDM, where's Isak replacement? We need a defender. But that is superficial. Today we are not going to engage in populism. I'll be honest, and many won't like this. New signings will not save Slot's Liverpool. Why? Let's sort it out. This is Liverpool Life. Hit the like button, subscribe, write in the comments where we are wrong, and let's go. In Slot's first season, that victorious 24-25 campaign, we saw the perfect hybrid. Slot was smart. He rode on the baggage of Jurgen Klopp's intensity, carefully adding his trademark control. And it worked. But now, in the 25-26 season, the full-scale installation of his own model has begun. And this is exactly where the system has crashed. The numbers don't lie. Look at the PPDA metric, pressing intensity. Under Klopp, this figure was around 8.0. That is, Liverpool allowed the opponent to make only 8 passes before attempting a tackle. In Slot's first season, it was 10.8. Now, in December 2025, that figure has risen to 9.89. It seems like the pressing has become more active, but we have conceded 25 goals in 17 matches. This means the players are running aimlessly, pressing into thin air. I don't even know what's worse, being passive or pressing pointlessly. Because of this, our chances of saving this season are falling rapidly. However, the supercomputer has already updated its predictions for the Premier League finish. For Liverpool, it gave, let's say, a very interesting forecast. You need to see this for yourself. To not take up video time, go to the LFC Live app via the link in the comments and in the description below the video. And we continue. But the most important problem hides deeper. It's the build-up structure, playing out from the back. Arne Slot uses a structure that analysts describe as a 4-2-4 or a box. 2 center-backs, Van Dijk and Konate, and 2 holding midfielders, usually McAllister and Gravenberch, play the ball deep. And our new star attacking quartet, Wirtz, Salah, Isak, Gakpo or Ekitike, are positioned very high, practically on the same line as the opponent's defenders to create depth. In theory, this should stretch the opponent. In practice, however, a huge gap forms between the pivots and the attack. The fullbacks, who were supposed to fill this space, often find themselves taken out of the game due to specific tasks. One gets stuck in the defensive line, the other in the center-back pressure. And this is where the disaster strikes. When Liverpool loses the ball in this space, we see a total collapse of the Reds' defense. In Klopp's system, losing the ball triggered an instant, furious counter-press from the whole team. In Slot's current system, the attacking players often remain cut off, and the pivot zone tries to hold position to drop back. We've often seen goals from counterattacks when the defense was scrambled, like for example in the preseason game against Milan. As a result, we have neither pressing nor compactness. Of course, the easiest thing right now is to blame the manager, say Slot out and wait for a new messiah. But let's dig deeper. The problem isn't that Slot's ideas are bad. The problem is the conflict between the new demands and the muscle memory of the players remaining from the previous era. In football, there's a concept called cognitive load. For years, the spine of this team played an instinct. Heavy metal football is a reaction. See the ball, run. Lost it, attack. Arne Slot demands them to think, calculate moves. We must kill them with passes. That is his staff's mantra. Have you noticed how our veterans, Van Dijk, Roberts and Gakpo, or even such an explosive player as Salah have been playing lately? Do you see how they sometimes seem to buffer? That split second they spend thinking, should I run into the press or hold the zone? In the Premier League, that costs a conceded goal. It's not a lack of desire. It is plain metal fatigue. Players are trying to reprogram their brains right in the middle of the toughest league in the world. Furthermore, we are losing the Anfield factor. Our stadium feeds on the energy of chaos and verticality. Slot's sterile, controlled football, even if it's correct from the textbook point of view, kills the atmosphere in the stands. When the stadium is silent, the team loses its main emotional doping. It's a vicious circle. Academic play breeds silence. Silence breeds passivity. So no, Slot is not a failure. He's an architect trying to rebuild the foundation of a skyscraper without evicting the tenants. And now, at Christmas, the building is starting to crack dangerously. And one more, perhaps the most unpleasant truth that is hard for fans to accept. Why, even if we buy 2 or 3 top players for problem positions tomorrow, will it not yield an instant result? Because Arne Slot's football is not an intuitive game. It's a complex system of automatisms. It is football in the head. For this system to work, every player must know his partner's maneuver at a reflex level, without looking. Look at those we have already bought, Florian Wirtz, Isak. These are world stars, but even they look lost after 6 months. Why? Because they are still learning the language of this system. Any newcomer who arrives in January, be it Guehi, Semenyo, Adeyemi or Bastoni, will land in this exact environment. They will need a minimum of 3 to 4 months of a so-called loading period just to stop making positional errors. In the Premier League, we don't have these months. Adding new people to a mechanism that is already unbalanced doesn't fix it. It only increases entropy, increases chaos. It's like trying to put out a fire by throwing wood in it, even if it's very expensive and high-quality wood. We don't need fresh blood, we need chemistry within the blood we already have. The situation looks gloomy, I agree, but it's not hopeless. There is a solution, and it's not in John Henry's checkbook. What must Arne Slot do to save this season and his career at Anfield? First, simplification. Slot must take a step back from his dogmatism. He needs to stop breaking the player's instincts over the knee of his system. Allow the left and right backs to overlap. This will stretch the opponent's defense and paradoxically give more air to Wirtz and Isak in the center. Second, compactness instead of pure control. We need to abandon the adventurous build-up scheme. Drop one of the attacking players deeper, create a triangle in the center. Gravenberch needs a partner nearby, not 40 meters ahead. And third, aggression. We need to return elements of verticality. This Liverpool squad with Ekitike, Salah, Chiesa, Gakpo is assembled for lightning-fast attacks, not for sterile passing of the ball. If Slot can combine his structure with 20% of club's chaos, it'll be a killing machine. Let's sum up. Liverpool's problem is not a lack of money. The 450 million spent in the summer is proof of ambition. The problem is that these huge resources were integrated into a system that doesn't yet work as a single mechanism. It's a problem of geometry, psychology, and a painful transition period. We are observing a classic second season syndrome after the departure of a legend like Klopp. My prediction: this season will be decisive, and not because of transfers. If Slot shows flexibility and adapts the scheme to the players, rather than the players to the scheme, Liverpool can still save the season and return to the race for the top 4. If he continues to stubbornly bend his line about total control without taking into account the realities of the Premier League, well, then even £1 billion won't save us from Thursday night in the Europa League. Or even worse, given the injury problems, it looks like Slot has no chance. He will be sacked, and a manager who plays simple and effective football will come in for the rest of the season. But what do you think? Is it worth giving Slot time to finish building his chess game? Or is it time for the club to admit that this style doesn't suit this squad? Write your thoughts in the comments, we read every single one of them. And don't forget to like if you enjoyed such a deep tactical breakdown. Or perhaps we got something wrong? Here we speak about football in the language of facts. See you, and you will never walk alone. Bye bye.